Welcome back to the world's most dangerous podcast, Not So Common NSC.
NSC.
What?
Man.
Welcome back, Q. What's up, man?
Wow,
How you been? It's been a minute.
Hey, man.
What you been up to?
I went to New Orleans. I got married.
Congratulations.
Oh, appreciate it. You heard me? Appreciate it.
Yeah, I told everybody it's like, yo, Q doing something, but I let him explain it to you.
Yeah, I mean, 100, Jeremy, like, when you got a real one, you fuck with a real one. You know what I mean? Not every real one's going to be a real one forever, but you got to appreciate the time they are. So,
I feel you, man. So you a
work
married
it
man.
don't work, man. I'm happy I did it regardless, Jeremy. And the wedding felt like a mafia thing, like with the family and shit.
I kind of saw some pictures in there. It did look like some mafia shit. I was like, man, let me find out he in some shit.
Wow.
What part of Louisiana you say you from?
I'm from Reserve, Louisiana. St. John Parish, sure.
Man, congratulations.
Yeah, that's why that cowboy kept fucking with me over there.
Hey, man.
Oh.
You keep looking at him like blind you over
Yeah, it is. Shout out Bobo, right?
Shout out Bobo. Yep, Bling by Bobo.
I wasn't even going to tell the world who y'all are, but now I guess I will. But this cup right here, I was going to be like, nah, I ain't gonna.
Yeah, but we so blessed. Blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To have two real ones, speaking of real ones, in the building today.
Man, hell yeah, man. I woke up this morning, I went to the gym. I was going to go to work, but I forgot to set my alarm.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, fuck it, I'm going to the gym. And it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was fucking
The
brutal.
arm day or leg day?
I did like chest and arms, and then I did some cardio. And then I was in the sauna, and then I was in the steam room, and I was like, this
You
is
do look-
fucking
Well, at least you got up and did it.
You do look smaller.
So got
Yeah.
there.
You do look
Yeah,
smaller,
looking
G.
fresh.
Hey, chill.
Like he just did push-ups.
Little
He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm about to be on camera in 2 seconds. Hit these push-ups first.
Right.
You know?
Go
Yeah.
ahead, sweat this out real quick.
Right. Every swole nigga's secret that's not a secret.
Oh, like, I didn't even know. Like, what? Me? Little old me? What?
Watch out, man.
Anyway, we got some guests with us, Got as you can see, the cowboy.
Bless.
My friend
Oh,
over
yeah.
here, our football,
Bless.
He's in the same
Yeah.
conference. But tell everybody who you guys are.
So my name is Chelsea. Man, I met Matt about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Found out he was a little Giants fan, and the rest of it is history.
That's right, Sam Division. Oh, the beef is real.
Oh, we get
The
real
beef is
competitive.
real, G.
Real competitive in there. So, yeah, I just met this man and this dude right here,
It's like,
man.
damn, you got the best team.
I ain't never said that. I was like, you a cool dude. I fucks with
I
you.
try to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And that's
solid.
wifey over there in the corner.
Watch out.
Austin. That's it.
Hey, chill. Don't give him too much.
Right. Hold back a little bit.
I'm
Like,
trying to
damn,
keep it mystery. I'm trying to keep
hold
it
back.
mystery.
Lie, this is the first time that she had nothing to say.
Now that's real.
Just getting warmed up though.
That's real. I hear that shit, man. You gotta drop a gangster. I'm Austin. That's with a big A. You know what I mean?
Big A, not little A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Hey, man.
Shit. Say them little A's for your mama. This is big A in the building.
There you go.
Go play
There
with
you go.
somebody.
Right? We had sound.
Yeah.
Right? We had sound effects. Be like, boo. You know what I mean? That's when you drop a fucking bomb right there. Like,
Man, so yeah, man, I'm glad you guys are here. And speaking, you did say wifey, that's why we're here to talk about you guys.
we talking about y'all?
Talk about y'all.
Well, we're
Just wanna
super
talk about
happy.
something else?
We're super happy to be here. I'm very honored. So thank y'all for reaching out and giving us that opportunity. But
Peace and love.
Chelsea and I have been together for 10 years. We just hit
Holy
our 10-year
shit.
mark. And within probably about like 2 weeks, I think we've decided we're gonna go ahead and just pull the trigger and get married. And because it's been 10 years,
Yeah, you 10 years deep.
I mean, we
you know
could
what I
wait
mean?
like another
Yeah,
3
oh.
years just to make sure. But I feel like right.
Yeah,
It's,
because I was like, if y'all
Hey,
don't know,
y'all
it's
been
10
married
years.
for a while.
Hey.
So the time y'all been together for 10 years, how long have y'all lived together? That's when the
we
relationship
were-
really starts.
all of
That was quick.
all of
What
Yeah.
they call like a
Dude.
U-Haul situation.
Honestly,
Yeah.
It's the infamous
No
lesbian
lie.
1-800 U-Haul.
That's
Watch
it.
out.
That's what it was. Well, Chelsea and I, so yes, that happened. We were dating March, and I think in June we moved in together.
Okay.
But Chelsea and I, our history goes back all the way to high school. We were really best friends in high school, 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
And so our relationship it began there. So when we moved in together, we reconnected, and it was just kind of like where we picked up, but there was obvious an attraction there.
Yeah.
And so moving in wasn't, we already knew each other, and that was very familiar already and comfortable. and rekindling and reconnecting just made that transition even more
So
smoother.
so who moved into whose like sanctuary? You know what I mean? Because like when you in your shit, is your shit. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so shit kind of has to change up.
Honestly, it was a little bit after I got out of the military. I had came back from California.
Excuse me 1 second. Matthias giving him that real life TV right now.
Yeah.
God, watch out.
Yeah,
Oh, we
a
will.
little bit after that. So a little bit after I had gotten out of the military,
How long you did?
I did 4 years.
Okay,
Yeah, I
appreciate your
did.
service.
Thank you. Went ahead and did that, and a little bit after I had came back to Texas because I was living in California at the time.
What part?
San Diego.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out Escadino, you heard me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And came back. She was living in Virginia at the time. She
What
came
part?
back to Texas.
Don't say Virginia Beach.
No, Herndon.
Herndon. Okay, 100. Well, like I did music, so I've traveled like all around, like so.
Oh,
It's
okay,
pretty
cool.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of black people.
There are.
Yes.
There are.
That's her
There-
vibe.
Yeah.
Obviously.
there's
her vibe.
there's a lot of black people out there. For those who don't know where that is, trust and believe. But yeah, go ahead, continue on.
So yeah, so shortly after that we reconnected. I think it was through maybe like Facebook or something. She slid in my DMs.
Shout out social media.
I did.
Slid into
Shout
those
out social
DMs.
media.
And the rest is history, you know. Shortly after we had finally met up, I think we went on maybe like 1 or 2 dates and was like, all right, this is for real.
Yeah.
She said that she was going to be moving into somewhere and was like, you should come with me. I'm
Damn.
going to pack my bags right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I got a dog, you got a dog. Little,
Oh,
we about to be
shit.
one happy family.
Y'all
right
bringing
here.
kids and everything. I watch
Man.
out.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's exactly how it happened. Yeah. We when I was living in Virginia, I had moved there to see a relationship through, and then moved back. And so when I moved back, I didn't have anywhere to land on my feet. So I moved
Yeah.
back in with my mom, and that was I think like in January. Chelsea and I dated in March, and then we were
Hold
out
on 1 second. Let Matthias give him one more glimpse at real life TV, baby. No cuts, no edits.
Yeah, fuck all
You
that.
see it all, man.
I just hit that sign.
We-
and shit. I'm still.
What? We hit fucking record and let it go. You know what I mean?
It's real shit here.
Yeah. But go
All
ahead.
right, you know, it's all over Facebook.
Oh,
my gosh.
what am I say?
Oh, Lord. mercy.
Palm sweating.
Right?
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Don't worry. All this shit we saying right now will be in the video. Watch.
I ain't mad at it.
It's like,
Keep it
no
100.
skips. You know what I mean?
Keep it 100.
Yeah.
What I
But
missed.
yeah, so we moved. No, just how we, you know, he wanted to know who moved in with who, and did someone move into someone else's domain, or
Yeah.
was it equal ground? And it was really equal ground at the time because I was in Virginia and Chelsea had got out of the military. We weren't living with
You
each
from
other.
Virginia?
I'm not from Virginia. So
That's the part you walked.
I-
No, that's the part you literally walked in on. That's the part you walked in on. Watch when you play it back. You're editing, you'll be like, "Oh shit, okay, I interrupted that answer." Yeah.
All right, just keep going.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
moved to
yeah.
Virginia. I had initially moved to Virginia to. I rekindled an old relationship and I needed to see that through. And so then when I came back, I didn't have anywhere to. I didn't land on my feet immediately. So I moved back in with my mom. Thankfully,
Yeah.
I was able to do that. And then I was, you know, Chelsea. That was in January. Chelsea and I started to see each other in March, and then by June, I had already been looking for apartments. And then without Chelsea, because that was still very new, right? So it was like me wanting to get out, needing to do my thing. But with us dating and being so familiar already,
Yeah.
then it was like, hey, why don't we just move in together? Because we're spending every single day together
Mhm.
already, every single day. So we
So-
might as well just do this.
For it to move that fast, obviously your families already knew, like what y'all like, what you liked in life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So was it an easy transition because like you guys grew up together, went to school together? Did your families know each other? Did y'all have familiar friends? You know what I mean? Like, was it an easy blend, or was it something that you had to work on?
I believe it was something we still had to work on, right? Yeah, the families knew,
Yeah.
but it was something that was still new for Austin's mom. Her
Really?
dad was very understanding with it. I think that was something that he knew from a younger age with her.
Yeah. Okay, can I keep it real with you for a second?
Go ahead.
I don't think everybody talk about this, but I think most men think this. Secretly, we kind of wish that our daughters become lesbians. Like,
have to do
like
with
exactly,
men.
exactly. And I'm not saying it to be, negative, nothing like that. But as a man, I've said this to myself for years, and I talk to my homies, and they kind of feel the same way too. Like, I don't have a problem with guys, but I just know what guys is. I just don't want dick around my woman, around my not around my woman, around my girl, around my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if my daughter did choose a man, cool, no doubt. But if she ever was like, hey, dad,
This is who I am.
I like pussy,
Hmm.
I'd be like, I understand.
I like it
You know,
too.
right? You know what I mean?
Turns around like,
Yeah, our connection would be so
Like you
deep.
said,
You
dad.
know what I mean?
What age we talking? Like, how old are you guys?
How old am I now?
No, when before
like when we came, like when we came
no,
out, or
it's
when
when
we
we first knew,
realized,
like
or-
you're realized.
So I first realized when I was 11, 12 years old.
Damn, so that shit real like that.
Yeah.
How about
Mhm.
you?
I think I've known for a really long time. It was difficult to find myself. So I really got into my first involvement with another female at around age 13,
Yeah.
13, 14.
Did you teach or were you taught?
Uh, That's a great question. I think that it was new to me, and the person that I was with had already been with a female, so I guess I was taught a little bit.
Yeah, see, that's a blessing. In my opinion, the first time you do something, if you do it with somebody who has some experience, I think that's a blessing. It's a good way to start off. You know what I mean? Like the process of trying.
And see, my experience was different. Mine was that it was that I can remember anyway. It was that it was all new. Like this was all new. Like I believe that she knew already that this is who she was, and then it was just me. This friend that I'm in Virginia. That it was just me kind of like feeling it out, but everything happened so innocently. It wasn't like it never felt. And if she did, have experience, and we were kids at that age, like
Yeah.
what is it besides like heavy petting and maybe like some pumping outside the clothes, and if you go under the clothes, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Right, because you don't have that aggression part of you
Right.
yet. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
So, in my experience, my story is that it happened very like innocently, not really knowing anything, thinking like, oh, we're best friends. Like, you and your
Yeah.
best friend don't hang out. Like, y'all don't do that. Like, what? And they're like,
Nah, me and my best friend don't.
no.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
I'm like,
not at
really?
all.
Y'all
My best friend- that's my
don't?
best
Really?
friend.
Yeah.
Why not?
I get that. I get
I mean,
that.
listen.
But in your bubble, that's what you and best friend was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It made sense
Mhm.
to you. I get
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's not easy to find somebody who's on the same level as you are.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I think that, way back when, that's probably how they became best friends. They probably had that common
Kind of
ground.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Without even knowing at such a young age,
Right.
you know.
The unforeseen attraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's how things happen,
Yeah,
to
hell yeah.
magnetize to something like that.
Right.
And so whenever I was doing it, mine started off with like little love letters to somebody that didn't go to school with me type of thing.
Yeah.
Later on in life, about 7th, 8th grade, that's whenever it became like a physical type of thing.
So it really is that young.
Yeah.
And because like you hear stories, and you know people, and logic kind of plays a barrier for people to understand, I think, the gay lesbian community.
Mhm.
Because logically you'd be like, if someone says they're born this way, you think that evolution is that you grow into the person that you are. You know what I mean? You experience, you grow, you learn. But to have like a biological feeling at such a young age, there has to be more than just growing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like, I hate to, yeah, I want to say it, like ordained. You know what I mean? Like this is just who you were birthed to be.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of cool when you talk to people, us in that lifestyle, because it's a difference in saying like, I met this dude, I met this girl, and, we went on a date and I found out I like, you know what I mean? Or we were just hanging out at a bar. When you hear somebody say like 8th grade, 7th grade, 11, 12 years old, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's just yeah. So definitely at a young age, I knew that I was attracted to girls, but on the other hand, if you can remember back to your school days, your school crushes,
Oh,
different
yeah.
classmates, right?
oh yeah.
That came
However
easy.
far
What?
back, we'll say grade school, right?
Oh, we can go back. I
Right.
remember.
So you can remember having that attraction.
Yeah, shout out Kiva Trepanier. You know what I'm talking about? OLG, man.
Shout out, girl.
I was addicted, G. Like I didn't even.
But you knew.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe there were some attractions that you didn't, necessarily speak your mind to or communicate that attraction, but you still knew.
Right. The feeling.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
That
So
inner
it's
shit.
the same
Mhm.
thing. So if you can remember how far back, what age you were when you started having attractions, and then when you have children, then you think like, what, really that young? Or even if you don't have children, you're thinking like, whoa, kids these days,
So was boys never an option? Because if you think about it, you start that like thinking about having that type of attraction so young.
Yeah.
Was the opposite set never an option, or was it just straight like I was never attracted to a guy? I saw this bomb ass girl, and there's been the girls ever since.
So for me, no. So in the beginning, when I'm telling, we're talking about this girl and went to Virginia, yada yada.
Yeah.
Um, well, like Chelsea was saying, that they used to pass like love notes to another school and stuff. So I had that situation happen because me and this girl, we went to the same grade school together and then the same high school together, and we also played sports, multiple sports. So we shared the locker room numerous times a
Yeah.
day for not just PE, but just for all these sports, right?
Right.
And so when we had our best friendship going on, we would write letters to each other. And then what happened was that in my situation, the letters got out in the locker rooms, and then they were passed around, and I was hazed, I was bullied, I was made fun. I mean, anything you can think of in the book. In the hallways, it wasn't just in the locker room.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was really, really bad. And not only did these letters circulate in my school, that girl's stepmother then faxed. That's how far back it was.
Yeah, old ass.
Faxed out my love letters to my mom and
Damn.
my dad, and
Oh,
then
wow.
the girl's biological mom. So just sent it out like a mass text, but just to family. And so, my mom didn't look too much into it because of my age, and she kind of thought maybe there was something romantically going on, but she wasn't really sure. And so my
Yeah.
mom had chalked it up like, kids, like they're young, because again, 11 or 12, right? They're young. They have hormones that are just going into their body. Like,
Right,
I'm not,
right.
I'm really not going to look too far into this. Whereas the other side, like the other parents were just like, oh my gosh. So it
So
was, and then on top of that, so Chelsea's mom Chelsea's mother found out about these letters because Chelsea's mother worked at the neighborhood HEB that we all went to.
Yeah.
And so Chelsea and I were best friends. This
So
happened
she
when we
know
were
the
really young.
names.
She knew this
She knows.
girl.
She-
Chelsea knew this girl because we all
Mhm.
played sports together.
Yeah.
So it circulated, and not only at my school, and then with my parents, and then her parents, and then now to Chelsea's mother.
So they
and that,
really sent all this stuff
Yes.
around the different people.
so in my situation, going back to your question of did you know that it was just girls from Jump? Yes, I did know it was girls from Jump, but I also knew that society, like gay, was not okay,
Yeah.
and people were treated differently. If they were gay, they were made fun of, they were put down. It was, you have cooties, and just the meanest, cruelest things you can say,
Right.
and I have a couple of different gay men as far relationship wise, uncles, um, great uncles that were gay as well. And so like going through that, like generationally, I have some family members that are able to take a step back and be like, whoa,
But see,
we're going to change this way of thinking.
Yeah.
see, but to the outside the bubble world, that would give someone a reason to ask the question like, do you think that it's something that you've seen because you've been around? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Did that form the child's mind to look at it as like it's okay to be with same?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Which then they would say would take away the choice of a child.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. So in that situation, no. So my uncle passed when I was maybe like 7 years old,
Okay.
and he passed from the AIDS virus, and so
Damn.
he did not,
R.I.P.
and I did not. We did not all live together. We lived in the same neighborhood, but we all had our own homes, right?
Mhm.
Each family
Yeah.
had their own homes. So in that situation, it would be no, because that was the only family member that I knew of, and not even at the time. It was years later that I knew he
You
was
found
gay.
got you.
Because when you're a little kid and you're playing with your uncle or your aunt or whomever, that's your person.
Right, it's just
Yeah.
that's your
just
auntie, your
or
uncle,
your
aunt, right?
You're too young to be able to compartmentalize your aunt or your uncle's sexuality and how that makes you feel.
Right.
Feel it.
You're just a kid wanting that love and affection from your aunt or your uncle. So I would have to disagree with people that think like, well, maybe because you were around gay people or you had gay people in your family, you
Yeah.
were exposed to that, because as a child, you're too young, I feel, to process those emotions. Like with me, it's like, oh wait, best friends don't do this, and I didn't even know. I don't know what sex is. I don't know what heavy petting is. I don't know what any of that is. I'm
Yeah.
a kid. I just know love and affection, and this person makes me feel safe.
So let me ask you, Chelsea. I'm sorry, Martha. I noticed
Hey,
I'm
bro.
talking
Hey, I want
a
you to
lot.
go. Go ahead.
So let me ask you: do you feel like the letters was necessary because you couldn't speak out? You know what I mean? Because you knew what you knew what saying the words you wanted to say from the inside on the outside like would bring towards you. You know what I mean? Like, so was the letters necessary because you couldn't speak, or was the letters necessary because that was your choice?
No, I think it was because I was still trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Me growing up in so I'm black and white. My father is black and my mom is white. My dad, he has a big family, right? One of
Yeah.
10, right? So huge family, easily over 150, 200 cousins out there.
Yeah.
Like Austin said, gay was not okay. Growing up Baptist and going to church and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
every Sunday and things, and then going to Bible study and stuff. Like it was not.
And even
I
in the
wasn't
military,
around it.
even in the military, when she was in, it was don't ask, don't tell.
Oh yeah, speaking. Did
That's
you
right.
deal with anything?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Talk about the military and
I've
stuff real quick.
had to deal with that. It's very difficult. I know people personally that once they found out that they were gay, actually got discharged dishonorably.
Damn.
Wow.
I was very fortunate not to have that happen to me, but I know people, and now things have changed in the military.
Yeah.
Nothing changed with those people that got dishonorably discharged before that. It's kind of like the weed situation, right?
Yeah.
Like
There's no
now
going
weed
back.
is legal. Yeah, they're to try to go back and get these
And they
people
won't.
out of jail and out of prison and
Right.
things to now what the world is now and what
Yeah.
it's come to is very difficult.
Because
They won't
because
change the
that's
status of their discharge.
You have to lawyer up to get something like that. It's not as easy as that.
yeah. Because that's what
things were-
that's what power wants.
was the
Power
law.
power wants now. Power wants you to acknowledge what we're doing now.
right. Not
Not
back
what
then.
exactly.
Yeah, they don't want
Exactly.
to go back to the past, even though that affects in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
Getting dishonorably discharged, I mean, that's being compared to just being a felon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that's not really a choice. They still chose to go and fight for their country.
Right.
All
Still
of
put
that
the
was
life on the line.
pushed to the side
Right.
because of sexuality.
Because y'all say I can't go fight no more. Not
Y'all
because
say I
not
have to.
because I don't want to.
Absolutely.
Damn. That's
Out of your
rough.
control.
Mm-hmm.
Completely out of your control.
And what age did you go to the military?
I went right out of high school. I went at the age of 18.
So for at least let's say seventh grade, right? So and you said 7th and 8th grade. So that's at least 5 years of you not like being who you truly want to be. And then you go to a situation where you further have to not be who you want to be. It's not like you went to college and you went to like, yo, all right, I can be me. You know what I mean?
Right.
You went to the military, it's a place of supposed structure, and you couldn't be. Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
and I was really already used to structure, right? I grew up in a strict household.
Yeah.
It was already that, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to get away at the time. I didn't really want to go to the military. I wasn't accepted by that side of my family, the black side of my family.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to have somebody that I had been dating for, almost 6 months to a year. And every time that they come around, you're like, who is this?
Yeah.
You know who this is.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to get away and do that, that was difficult.
Did it make it difficult to have friends too? Because like your family presumed like, she got a homegirl, she must be fucking her. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be a platonic friend.
Right. I think that once you start thinking a little bit deeper into that, that starts affecting them.
Yeah.
My mom was pretty accepting with it, even though I had a hard time opening up and finally being like, hey, this is who I am. My mom was accepting of it. You know what I mean? She was pretty much like, I've known.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, he was very
Your dad is
hesitant about
black
it.
and your mom is white?
Yeah. Very hesitant about it, right?
Yeah.
Is it something that I've done? I'm sorry to have to bring it to this, but like, whenever I was younger, and I had, my menstrual cycles and things.
Yeah.
Very deep, right? I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
and I wanted to get put on birth control because that's what the doctors recommended to help me out. I wasn't even allowed to get on birth control because that was, in his eyes, thinking before knowing me
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
taking the time to see me as myself, like my mom did, right? My mom was a stay at home mom for a very long time. She knew this, he didn't. But
The automatic
being on,
assumption
yeah,
was
being
that
on
she
birth control,
must have sex.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
means that that's what I'm going to do, but not what's affecting my body.
I mean, that's like I
Right.
said earlier. Like most dads want their daughters to stay away from dick.
Yeah, like because I guess because I have a son,
Hmm.
as a father, you know what I mean. Like I think when it comes to your kids, your biggest fear. I mean, I guess as a parent, but just from a man's standpoint. So speaking as a father, uh, your biggest fear is failing your child, and it doesn't just mean like what they do in life or their career. It's just who they are mentally as a person. You know what I mean? Like you raise a kid, so you picture what they could be, but you never think about what they couldn't be. You know what I mean? Or the opposite of what you think they may be.
Hmm.
So it may come across as failure in the mind, but I do believe time heals all. And hopefully, I don't know what the conclusion of the story is, but I'm very excited to listen to it. Uh, but hopefully, time, shows that it's not something you've did. It's just who they are,
Hmm.
and that's what I think everyone tries to get to.
But also, it's so weird because I mean, daddy don't want you to be around boys, but
Yeah.
then you say, all right, I'm not even attracted to boys. I like girls, and then that's an issue too. So
Right.
it's like, what
Right.
the
Well,
fuck?
So
do
then,
you-
so then you have to really, really look at that. If you have the, you know, the maturity level at that time, depending on what age you are, right, to be able
Yeah.
to say like, so is this, you don't want me to have like anyone then? So then it's, you take it a step even further. So then it's like, okay, are we looking out for the better of me, or is this just a control thing? Giving, putting your daughter on birth control because it helps with her period cramps and all of the symptoms that she has, because different birth controls, different dosages,
Mhm.
different,
Yeah.
different strokes for different folks, so, it's not, and just because your daughter goes on birth control, that doesn't, I wish that some parents would not automatically categorize that or label that as a green light to have sex. I'm approving of my child by me putting her
I've-
on this. I am
Right.
saying that I am okay with her being sexually active, when actuality that's not the intent.
That's
It's
like a
Right.
medical thing.
right,
Right.
it's a medical,
Right.
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 And to
The
be able to
doctors.
see that,
But
and
but
not
you're
be
but you're asking people, because we got to remember, like, the word control is a big word, because it's generations. You know what I mean? It's not just like your parents trying to control you. That's not the case. It's generations of generations of generations
right.
of control. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Every parent from history
Mm-hmm.
has tried to guide their kid the way they go. And of course that takes control, because you don't know who you are or even how to function for so long. So you had to be in control. So as a kid grows, a parent has to learn how to loosen that control. But that control is the reason that parents get nervous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because their greater goal, if they're good parents, their greater goal is not even that they succeed at raising you, is that you just succeed. So even if they fuck up, they can still be happy
Mm-hmm.
that you succeeded.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like that control thing, like I kind of understand the control part, like because you feel like you're losing control, like you're making decisions that I wouldn't decide. So I can get that. And once again, hopefully time heals all, and hopefully a good parent, like you said, will be more knowledgeable. So the situation did come that way, they can make a better decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I can totally understand somebody making the wrong decision, because that's what I would think. Like if my daughter was taking the birth control, first thing I'd be thinking like, oh, she fucking. It wouldn't be who she fucking.
Right.
It would be, oh, she fucking.
Yeah.
Right. But then the alternative, so even in that mindset, the opposite of that would be that, oh, you think that she's out there having sex, but let's just say she gets put on it because of her menstrual cycle being intense, and that really does help her. But she's also growing into a young woman.
Mhm.
Years are going by.
That's why you need
It's a
two
matter of
parents.
time before she does have sex.
Mhm.
So whether you as a parent decide to put her on it for a medical reason, or you decide to put it on it because it's really not a matter of if, it's when,
Yeah.
the alternative, because she's a child, right? She's a minor, The alternative, if she doesn't receive that birth control of some sorts, is to then get pregnant. And then if she does get pregnant, then what are the family views? What are her views? Is she going to have to carry it full
It's like
term
a
and then give it up for
constant
And
adoption?
is she gonna be
Is- are-
comfortable enough to tell you, right?
Yeah.
To get a plan B,
Word.
have you get that,
Right.
Like, if you're afraid of her going out and doing these things, is she gonna be comfortable to say, you know what, Dad, I fucked up.
But that's why I feel like in this particular situation, it takes a 2-parent household because like you said, like your dad thought it was fucking,
Mhm.
but I'm guessing your mom went with you because you're a kid, so somebody had to go with you. You know what I mean to get on birth control,
I
right?
never got on it until I went to the military, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I was in a lot of pain, and I played sports and
Fuck.
stuff, so, that helped out with the pain by being
Yeah.
active sometimes, but, like, no, I never got to be on it
I see that's a
until
game
after I-
changer. See, like, I hope people that's viewing like realize what you just said because I was thinking that this was going on at a young age. You know what I mean? Like when you were young, living in your parents' house, and like you went to the doctor with your mom, and your mom you was there, and for your menstruals.
Mhm.
But when your dad found out birth control, he just heard, oh, birth control, fuck, she out here fucking. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like 2-parent because the mom would then have to pull the dad and let him know that like, hey, no, you need to be supportive. This is for help. You know what I mean? And then if the dad continues to be a dick, then I 100% agree with everything that's being said.
I mean,
His
those
ma-
conversations were had though. To from what Chelsea shared, those conversations, between her mother and her father were had. But I think at the end of the day, what Dad said,
Mhm.
ruled.
And it
Yeah.
did.
Trumped it.
Yeah.
It trumped everything.
Yeah.
So
Obviously
once-
she didn't get them until you were in the
Right.
military. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was to help me, right? Because when you're in boot camp and you're in pain from that, that's not an excuse.
Right.
I mean, like, that's not an excuse.
Pretty sure
Right.
they're not gonna take it
Let's
easy on
go
you.
ahead. No, exactly.
Yeah, it's
You know.
military.
I mean,
You're
I'm
gonna
not
get
the first
shot. You're gonna
woman.
keep going.
Yeah.
Right,
First
right,
woman to ever
right,
have this,
right.
So, like, no,
There's-
they were able to do that. I was
No,
able to
thank you for your
continue on.
service. I have
Absolutely.
to say that.
And that's what I did, right? And
Yeah.
it continued to help me because I can't call in and be like, hey, y'all, like, I'm really not going to make it today. 'cause
All right. All
Look,
right.
and calling in
I still, to
on
this
a
day.
ship, on a
Fuck.
ship in the ocean, calling in, nowhere to go. It's not like you're on land. Y'all all
Right,
together
right,
calling
right.
in like that.
Yeah, I was in the Navy and I was on a ship, shout out
Yeah.
USS Macon Island.
My little brother's in the Navy too, so
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out Navy.
Yeah, so it was a cool ordeal, meeting some really cool people, meeting like, having all these different life experiences.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have a hard time whenever I was in the military with being myself because the people that luckily that I ended up going to the boat with, I was actually in the same division with in boot camp. We
Okay.
all went to the same A school. We all got to pick orders at the same time. So there was a group of about 7 of us that all
that's
went
dope.
there together that
That's
we
dope.
had known from the very beginning of like getting to Chicago for boot
Yeah.
camp, so that was really huge. I hung out with a lot of guys,
Yeah.
and there was a couple girls in there that we were also really close with. They were just so accepting, being outside of Houston and spring and going somewhere completely different and meeting these folks. It made it really easy. There was not really any kind of like judgment going on
Yeah.
there. There wasn't anybody that was on the same level as me, like, oh, you're sleeping with X, Y, and Z. Like, oh, I'm going to go
Right.
tell on you.
But see,
That was more of a higher command
See,
type of
that-
thing, right?
that's what I consider to be your college. Because people talk about going to college, but there's different forms of college. You know what I mean? Like your college is the place you go where you find the people that accept you, so you can learn how to be yourself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I went more street. You know what I mean? But even in the streets, you find people who are more like you, who think like you in the streets. You form groups, and that becomes your friends and everything else. You know what I mean? So when you go to college, it's the exact same thing. So I think that's just like, I'm happy you went to college and found some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still talk to a lot of them too. Yeah, it's amazing, to have that type of support and be able to kind of be yourself outside of that. You know what I mean? I think that, like you say, going to college, that's really when you find yourself.
Yeah.
And I came out, and I was actually with, women in high school, probably about like 10th grade, openly out.
I thought you were about to say 10 of them. I'm about to say, damn, Vlad.
No.
Yeah, you knew. You motherfucking knew. Yeah, boy.
For all we know.
Yeah.
Writing letters
No,
down
I
the
wasn't.
school.
I mean,
Teach me.
I
on the bike, go and get it. You know what I
Love
mean?
athletics. You meet all kinds of
What?
of girls on different teams in
Yeah.
different schools all over the city.
You know what I'm
You
talking
get all
about?
kinds of letters.
That
Yeah.
came out a little bit later. I wasn't
Okay,
really doing
okay.
all that when
Yeah.
I was younger. You know,
I thought you was on the bike pedaling to it. Like,
I was.
what? I could go 12 blocks.
No, man.
I gotta see Sarah. Gotta see Sarah.
Going
Yeah.
to school, then working, then getting on to what am I gonna do next?
That's real.
That's it.
So
That's real.
say 10th grade, you was all the way out, like fuck it, I don't give a shit, who
Mhm.
cares?
Mhm.
What about you? When were you all the way, like fuck everybody's thoughts and
I was in my early 20s. I was 23, I believe. So when all that happened with my letters being passed out and being bullied and everything, not really knowing or labeling myself as gay, right? Without even realizing that what happened, that pushed me back into a closet that I did not realize was a closet at that time, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
I just all I knew as a kid being innocent was, oh my gosh, I'm just retracting because like I it's too much. It's too
Right.
much. It's mentally exhausting, and no one, I mean, just the fact of being bullied when you're a kid, there's just a lot of innocence to it. So I got pushed way back in, and then after that it was like, well, I'm never going to feel this way again, and what do I need to do to not feel this way again? Like, I don't ever want this to happen again.
Yeah.
And so then it was, okay, well, I'll be more vested in boys because that's, no one says anything about that. I don't get bullied. And so
Right.
I had boyfriends then. And
Talk about players. Y'all should
yeah,
ask her her
for real.
words.
Yeah.
Then it got
so I
real.
had
Then it
Whoa.
got
I
real.
had
Whoa.
boyfriends all the way up, and the same friend that I've been talking about, she was in the military as well, and she got out, and
You like a girl in uniform,
there is
She got it tight.
patterns.
She got
There's
it tight,
patterns.
bro.
huh? Yeah.
But I ended up driving with her, and it was just one of those last minute things because she was from Texas as well, same area. And one of her plans fell through. I jumped in the car with her. We drove to Virginia so she didn't have to drive by herself. And then once I was in Virginia, I stayed there for about 2 weeks. I intentionally missed my flight back home
Watch out.
because I needed to see that relationship through, because that was the first time in our adult life that we were able to really talk about what happened in our childhood
Real.
and process that and have that transparent communication about how this made us feel and where we're at with this, and is this still a thing, because that was when we were kids, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just having that transparent conversation, and so then I decided, yeah, the only way I'm going to know is to see this through, and I don't want to wonder what if the rest of my life. So I came back and I packed my bags, and I told my mom. That's when I like came out, told my mom that
Like, Mom, I'm moving to Virginia. I'm a lesbian
did, and
piece.
I'm her only child. I'm her only
And
child.
she forgot to say her mom was the one that encouraged her in the first place to drive.
My
with
mom did. She
the
did.
friends
She
to go
encouraged
there.
me. So my mother
So-
knew about this relationship with my friend, right? My mother knew, but she, like I said, she never really put too much weight into that, looking into that, because it was kind of like, she'll tell me if,
Yeah.
she'll tell me. I'm not going to, and I didn't. And, but my mom was like, there's more, her famous line that I always remember, there's more to life outside of Texas, Austin. There's
Right.
more to life, to go experience it, go drive
That's
up there
what's
with her so she doesn't have to, make that drive by herself.
Right.
And then we'll fly you back. And I
Counterpoint,
was
she
like-
did name you Austin, though.
She
Yeah.
definitely was, yeah. So so that's what I did. And so when I missed my flight, and my mom was pissed, and she was like, what the fuck?
Mm.
And I was like, I just got some shit I need to figure out. My father was in the military, and he was, he's been all over. And so he
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I'm like, dude, you're an adult now. I was in my early 20s. He's like, do you? Like, if you need to see something through, then see something through, and I'll do what I can
Is your dad saying that?
to make it happen.
Mhm.
Huh?
Is your dad saying that?
Yeah, this is my dad saying that.
Okay.
And so I did. And my dad was really
That's what's
supportive.
up.
And my mom was more heartbroken, and I think projected that anger because I'm her only child, and I up and left on a whim. I came back. I stayed in Virginia for a month. I came back. I packed up my car, my dog. The girl came down, and she got in the car with me. I told my parents on a Sunday, if you will, when I flew back in. I told them I was leaving on Saturday,
Yeah.
and I need to see this through.
Can I ask you some dirt?
Yeah.
All right, can I ask y'all some dirt, right?
Uh-huh.
With that person that you went through all that shit with, like when you was kids, letters, everything,
Uh-huh.
y'all went through so fucking much.
hmm
And I know from being in, like, I'm not a relationship person, but I'm guessing people who are like in relationships, when they break up with somebody and they get with somebody else, they don't really fuck with the person they once upon a time fuck with. You know what I mean?
hmm
If for whatever reason, if that's out of respect for their new person or whatever.
Mhm.
But to go through something so fucking traumatic for both of y'all through so much time and space together, like even though clearly that situation's over because you with this fucking winner right here, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Is there still a contact from that, or and if there is that some shit you like cool with? Like,
So I'm gonna let you know, right? So like,
Shit.
even though Austin, started that our relationship and we've been best friends in high school, I've actually known Austin since I was about 10 years old.
yeah,
You know, my brother used to play football over there in like the little Nimitz area, and Austin's old best friend, her name was Danielle, had a little
oh,
brother.
got names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a little brother that played with mine. Come to find out, I was playing in a volleyball league, and Austin played in the same volleyball league. And because I knew Danielle, Danielle knew Austin, we started out at like the age of 10 knowing each
Yeah.
other.
Of course y'all like girls. Y'all's playing
So
volleyball?
it
Like that's
was
the most
something-
sexiest sport. Like there's nothing, there's the most sexiest uniforms you could possibly wear.
Yeah.
Is fucking volleyball. You know what I mean? Like,
It might as well be like a unitard.
you know what I
It's
mean?
all just spandex.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm stupid, Jeremy. Like I told you from jump, I'm retarded over here.
So I know the girl. I knew the girl that she's referring to
Yeah.
from that young age. I've known her for a very young age too because I played softball as well, tournament softball, and we ran into each other like that. So it ended up being very, very, very small community, right?
Yeah.
So now we'll fast forward to now me and Austin being together. We did have a little hiccup one time in 2017 where we were dating other people. So the one person that she's referring to about the Virginia situation reached out. And she ended up telling me about it. Austin told me about it. And I was just like, like, what's that angle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't have too much that I could say about it because we weren't together at the time,
Oh, but y'all together now.
We're together now, and I'm not gonna lie, you bringing that up kind of triggers something
Yeah.
a little bit right now.
Because
Because
they
you
went
reached
through a
out
lot of
about
shit.
2 months ago.
Ooh, see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Now Virginia's living back in Texas.
Ooh,
And
get the
married.
fuck,
She's
Virginia.
married now, so I'm still
So-
trying to
And she's
figure out the
still-
angle.
hey.
It's not that
So
I
when-
am
Miss
threatened.
Virginia,
Oh
back
my
the fuck up.
God.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm threatened. You
Ooh.
know, I know that they have a lot of history.
That's it.
right? And
I couldn't trust the history.
and that's the thing, right?
Y'all
That's
start
kind of
crying and
what
shit to each other, like-
makes me-
Mm-mm.
Well, Austin is very understanding, right? Austin comes from a point where it's like she knows. I know her family as well, but Austin knows her family.
Yeah.
And there's some deep, deep things from the ex that she personally has gone through that maybe
Yeah.
has not been able to express that with everybody the way that she's expressed that with us.
Yeah.
And I can't speak on those things because they didn't express that.
I'll
with me,
fucking
right?
speak on
I'm
it for you.
speaking on it
Goddamn it,
for
like,
her. But
yeah.
at the same time,
Ooh.
I would think out of respect for me and out of respect for our relationship, she could leave that to now you talk to that with your wife.
Hey.
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 That's the angle.
Not
that
so
I'm
common
gonna
is
put
coming
on
to
it,
your door.
Man,
I
look
right?
will-
here.
So
I will say that.
What you gonna say?
To add on to what you were saying in 2017 when Chelsea and I had broken up, when the girl had reached out.
oh wait, what was that?
She
I was
reached
like,
out.
or-
Is it my
or
DMs? I don't know. I don't
or
remember.
I
Slid in
reached
the
out, but I
DMs?
can't
Live
remember.
TV. Live TV.
I really can't, but since it's live, you never know because I can't remember shit. So I might as well just own it just in case.
Yeah, just in
So,
case.
just- Full transparency. But it was just a casual reach out. It wasn't, nothing came of that. It was just literally like a check-in, how you doing kind of thing. Oh, that sucks. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever. Of course, you can talk to me if you want to, but even though that offer was extended or that olive branch was given, there was no follow through on it from my end. And so, and then recently, like she was saying, like two months ago, I think it was, she had reached out, and again, very innocently. It wasn't anything that was inappropriate. I think the only thing that probably was inappropriate was that she reached out thinking that it would be okay, but I've also done things where I didn't think it was inappropriate, and I did things, and it was like, yeah, no, that wasn't appropriate. I shouldn't have done that.
So
The
is
intentions
the-
wasn't bad. It's
is-
just like you thought it was.
So the reason I'm asking is because my biggest question within a same-sex marriage relationship
Mhm.
is like, is it just like a regular one? Because I know for a fact regular relationships are fucking abusive. Not physical, but mentally abusive.
Mhm.
Like dealing with another person and what they come with and trying to understand that person at all times, or should you care about this emotion? Should you not care about this emotion? You know what I mean? So my biggest question is it the same? Because I know for me, I don't give a fuck how strong that bond was at one point in time. Don't bring that shit over here now. You know what I mean? Period. Boy, like I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? If you ain't over that, then go work that out, but leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
That's who I am as a person.
Yeah.
But in a same sex relationship, because you haven't always had somebody, like I've always dealt with women. So my situation has always been that way. And it's the norm to the world. You know, not to have that norm, to form these bonds of somebody who truly fucking understands you. You know what I mean? Who live like you live, who get down how you get down. Like, is it the same problems, or do you want to keep the bonds you've made because you've had so few people, fewer, I ain't gonna say few, but fewer people than the common person to accept you for who you are?
I think it's the same. I think
Goddamn right.
that
That's a good question.
I think that it's the same. I think it's the exact same. I think that it takes the same amount of work, effort, communication, transparency,
Yeah.
full everything, you
Yeah.
know, and it's a give and take. It has to be equal. It has to, everyone has a shitty day, but that doesn't mean that you can just be a shitty person and continue to project that onto someone, because you can't compartmentalize, or you can't sit down and be vulnerable and have that transparent conversation with your significant other.
Yeah.
So I think it's very much the same. I do feel like, to answer your part two of it, I do feel like because of that relationship that we had, even though it made Chelsea feel that way, Chelsea also is able to balance that feeling by also saying, but I know that y'all were friends, and y'all were friends for so long, and there was it was almost kind of like it was kind of like a trauma bond, if you will, but
yeah.
a little bit more weighted on one side than the other, to me and this friend as kids growing up, and with families and things that they were exposed to, and me as well.
Right.
And Chelsea knows the ins and outs, full details of that, and so she's understanding of that as well. And she's able to be rational about it. But still, it's like, yeah, it still makes me uncomfortable. I don't.
Right.
I'm not-
'Cause
I think
I'm
that's
guessing it's a
anybody.
respect
I'm
thing.
not
Would you feel like it's
feeling
a?
it.
I think that's
think
anybody.
I
Right.
think
feel
it's a
like that.
respect thing, because even whenever we had gotten engaged and things, they reached out to her mother.
Yeah.
I feel like there's lines, right?
Right.
It could be. I would probably be more open if it was just like, hey, I really want to connect with us, and let me get my wife. You bring Chelsea, and we're all in this.
Right. It'd be weird as fuck,
restaurant
but at
or
least it's
whatever.
something.
Exactly,
Pitch it
but
that way.
bringing
Pitch it
it
that
to
way,
the
right?
table
Right.
If
in
it's gonna
that way.
if it's gonna
Right.
be innocent as that, pitching it and saying, hey, yes, we dated, we're intimate, whatever that goes on in a relationship, right? I would still like to continue this friendship. What do you think about all of us getting together, my wife, Chelsea, like she was saying, and pitching
Yeah.
it that way, right? But then,
The
it would have
question
to-
why
it would
would make it harder though. Like even if the person was like, "Hey, I bring mine, you bring yours, we'll get together." The question would be like, "Why?
Yeah.
Like why are we doing this now?
Yeah, like,
Out of why?" And that's what
Exactly.
and that's what causes a problem because
Well, see, but for me, so yes, that would be the first thought, would be like, okay, but why? But then a part of me would also want to be like, well, let's go find out why. Let's go have lunch. Why? Let's go somewhere where there's alcohol. So maybe, some of us can have a little bit more liquid courage than others to ask. Like, so great to see everyone. First time meeting you.
why are
here?
we?
Yeah, right.
Like happy
Right.
hour.
And
you have a
that's
good
why I
day,
wouldn't go.
sir.
That's why I wouldn't go
And
because
that's-
who the fuck are you for me to even answer the why? You know what I mean? Like it's just me.
And that's the thing. It's just like, it's just always them kind of reaching out in that way, and almost
Yeah.
reaching out to her,
Right.
what I mean? And they know. That's disrespectful.
What about ex guys? Because you didn't really deal with guys, right?
I dealt with a few guys, but not into like the same extent of like, oh, he gonna get jealous because I'm talking to somebody else. No,
Word.
she had that experience.
So like, what about your ex guys? Like, do they try to slide in the DMs too? Because I mean, once again, speaking from a man perspective, like if you slept with a girl who later became a lesbian, then that, in the man's mind, you probably you think you got some special dick. You know what I mean? Because she don't want she said yes to this one, but said no to the rest of the world. So it's like, in a man's mind, men are stupid. You know what I mean?
You're on your
Like,
own pedestal, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like we are dumb like that, but we need that confidence to thrive, to be the man that society think we should be. So like that confidence, it hinders, but at the same time it uplifts at times too. You know what I mean? Depending on how you use it.
Mm-hmm.
every superpower is based on how you use it.
Probably hit the ego, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
But then
I think
whenever
that's
you
when
think
more-
about it like that and turn it around and flip it in that aspect, it was like, oh, this is who she is, but I was lucky. You know,
Yeah,
it takes
you
a
know what I
special
mean?
type of person to
It
flip
does.
it
Well,
in that way.
I am that type of person
Baby,
too. Like,
she-
that's how I view
She
life.
done broke
you know?
some hearts. I'm gonna
Exactly.
tell it. I'm gonna let her tell
So,
it.
but was that is that difficult for you too, knowing that she once upon a time had relationships with men? Like, does that make you like? I know my girl ain't about to go talk to no other girl. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I couldn't picture if my girl like girls and dudes, then be like, damn, you was talking to that chick at the customer service for a long time. You know what I mean? Like,
Service.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, do you worry about both? You just like, yo, I trust my girl. I know my girl.
Yeah, I don't worry about both. I guess if there was one that I was more worried about, it would definitely be females, right? She's been out, been closeted, been back out.
Right.
Some of the guys, you know, they still reach out. They're still maybe be Facebook friends and stuff. There's maybe one or two in particular that we might see, you know, once a year type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that whenever that does happen, you know, they cross the line a few times.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to bringing back stories about what they did, you know, as far as,
Why the fuck would they
Just-
do that?
you know,
That's just being
alcohol.
an asshole.
A lot of alcohol comes into play. A lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
familiarities with, you know, we only see these group of people once a year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you can talk about it all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Right. So when
if
you
you
do
were to-
see them, it's super catch up time.
Right. It wouldn't be like if we saw them all of the time, it would be like we're not talking about it anymore because it's already been out.
Or like in
Right.
certain situations where like if there's like some particular stories like from your childhood where like shit popped off or
Right.
something crazy happened and you weren't expecting it, you know, that's something no matter if those people are still together or not. It'd be like, hey, remember that one time when she fucking flew off the handles and we were over here and we were watching from afar and she didn't even know it. Man, that shit was crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, good times. And that's what it is. It just happens to be that there are a small handful of stories that because this group that we see once a year when we all get together, we all went to high school together. We're all friends together. They know Chelsea. They were friends. Some of them were friends with Chelsea before they were even friends with me.
Word.
You know, when Chelsea and I were good, like best friends in high school, you know, she knew my whole dating.
Oh yeah, I knew it all.
Yeah.
Lineup. I knew it
Portfolio.
all.
You-
The
yeah,
lineup.
yeah.
And so she knew
The
everything.
roster.
She knew everything. You know, I was dropping her off to be like, okay, go. I have to go somewhere. And she was like,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go here. I'm good. Stop it. I'm going. Bye. See you later. You know.
Mhm.
So
Tell my
like,
business,
you know,
my
it,
business.
it
Yeah.
happens to be one of those
My
stories. It happens to be
business.
one of those situations where it's like, oh, remember this. You know, remember this time. But to what she's saying is that like, it just happens to come up every time. And then like after a while, Chelsea's just like, I'm kind of tired of hearing about this.
Right, because
story.
that was my next question. Like,
You know, I'm kinda
when
tired of hearing
when is
about it.
enough? You know what I mean?
Right, and I've said that to her, to Austin. You know, I think it was this last go around, whenever it was that it's just like I'm exhausted from talking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be as soon as we walk in the door. It could be in mid of it, but it's just something that is always brought up. And you know, you have a ton of other couples here, a lot of new people, a lot of other
Yeah, like
experiences,
more
so it
conversations to
always
be
comes
had.
back to that.
Yeah.
And now, you know, this person is now married to, you know, another
Yeah.
woman and stuff. And so it kind of brings up some of those like mixed feelings about it. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
they're talking about them right now, but those of us that have stuck around are now their significant others, you know, what about us type of thing, right? You're making
Yeah.
people feel uncomfortable in this way.
Because
Yeah,
I'm sure
let's talk
Chelsea's
about
feeling
now.
like that. Then I'm sure that this, you know, I'm sure that his spouse is probably feels that way.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, and
Exactly.
Take that
because
into
it's not like
account.
it's a private conversation, right? It's just like, man, because alcohol, we're loud, you're outside, you're like, man, remember that one time when blah, 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 and then you got someone from across the yard chiming in, you know, from the woods going pee, like, oh my God, yes, you know,
So-
like
So
that
the
type of thing.
significant others are around when this conversation is going
Yes.
on. So it's not just
Yeah.
like the childhood friends by themselves pulled to the side.
Right.
No, this is just, it's just like, think of it like it's you go over to a friend's house or having a house party, it's indoor,
Yeah.
it's outdoor, and
You're all playing spades.
and so
Yeah.
everyone's just
But we're
walking
actually
around
rolling
doing their
dice.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone's just walking
But-
around doing their own thing, you know. Sometimes spouses are walking around or sitting together. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they branch off and they're having different
Right.
conversations in bathrooms or, you know, whatever with their
Right.
friends. But, you know, my point being is that, like, because everyone kind of joins in on it, you cannot, you know, unless you're completely inside outside, you know, you're going to hear tail ends of conversations. It would be the equivalent of you walking through a crowd to go to the bathroom, you hear a tail end of conversations.
Yeah.
If you have a group of people talking about it, you cannot not miss it.
Yeah.
You get to hear some bits and pieces of it.
And I don't think that it's, you know, to, you know, make us on the outside, you know, feel any type of way.
There is
Right.
ill
Just-
intent.
yeah,
It's not
absolutely
intentional.
These are fantastic people. Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
to make it seem like
But dumb shit
Oh,
don't have to be intentional.
that was 10, 12, 13, almost 15.
Right. When's the time for new
Like,
conversation?
Monumental story.
You know, we got
Goddamn.
kids now, we got animals now, we got careers now.
Their
It's just
stories
like,
are
that's
just
in the
like, you
past. You know,
Yeah.
but you know, bringing something like that up 13 years from now is just like, oh, it's
Right,
still
but
lingering
see,
on your mind type of thing.
Right, and y'all shit's different because y'all in a relationship. It's not
Right.
like just all the homies meeting up, you know what I mean? We all just chopping up so we can talk about type of shit like that, you know what I mean? Y'all like together,
Mhm.
like about to get married shit.
Well, 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
and like when you were saying like, oh, when you came out, like, did you have anyone slide in your DMs? Like, I remember this particular person was like, you know, I dated him for like 5 years, and then did like when I did come out, not only did I just up and leave, I mean, I put it on all my social media too, interested in women, moving to Virginia, this, that, and the other. I put it all out there so everyone got the update, and then I up and left to Virginia, and I turned off my social media for like,
Damn.
I don't know, about a couple of months. And then when I turned it back on, then it was like, did you forget to tell me something? And I was just like, I mean, you kind of knew. You kind of knew. You knew. Maybe I played it down, but you knew, you know.
Yeah, I mean, no guy is mad about a lesbian girlfriend. Tell you that right now. Like no, like if you break up, like if you and your girl broke up because she cheated on you, like with another guy, I think regardless it would hurt. But I think it's way easier for a guy to accept the fact that my girl like girls, especially if when that girl was with him, they like girls together.
I mean, I think that if I had to guess at least about 3 of them that she was in this relationship in high school with, 3 of them, that if she decided right now, you know what,
Yeah,
fuck this. This
Yeah,
is
they-
what I want no more.
they going.
Which I know that ain't gonna happen, but let's just
Right,
say
right.
hypothetically,
They coming.
2
Right.
seconds later, I
They coming.
heard-
married and all, that
Yeah.
they would stop what they're doing. I put that on I
I don't
do.
think that.
I believe that because some of them were just so.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's the power of the
Yeah.
pussy, but
I hate to say I'm enjoying this,
She
but like I love the
is-
fact that your relationship is so much like that. You know,
but we
like
gotta,
it's
we gotta
like-
wrap it up, though.
damn. Okay,
Yeah,
yo,
that's
did y'all
not-
come here to like? Did y'all write a book or
We
something?
need a
Like,
part 2.
no,
Like,
we
anything?
haven't. We
Part two.
haven't
Okay,
written a book.
because
you know,
Matthias be
but-
bringing motherfuckers in who be writing books and shit. And I don't even realize they write books, and I keep talking, and we never get to the
we are
book.
just
You know what I mean?
normal civilians.
Yeah, we are.
We don't have any books. We don't.
Nah, they
We
just some
don't.
special people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
definitely
fucking
come
agree,
back on
man.
it,
We got a part 2 of
because
this.
The
Another
story
part of this.
continues.
You don't
That's
need
just
part
a
two. Yo,
snippet.
yeah, gotta part 2
I
of this.
kind of want to talk
We
to y'all too. I know
skip
Q
over
is.
part two.
Yeah, my bad too.
just
My bad.
bypass
too.
two.
Yeah, you know,
3, leave 2 a
Nah,
mystery.
nah,
Yeah, we can go part 3, 4, then come back and do 2.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Star Wars shit, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Star Wars
exactly.
shit, man.
Star Wars.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring
may the
it back.
4th be
Yeah.
with you. G. I told my little boy, may the 4th be with you. Looked at me like I was fucking retarded.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck you talking about, Dad?
How
I
old
mean,
is he?
like Cole, he 11.
Okay.
He'd be 12
Uh-huh.
in September. And he looked at me so cold, my nigga. Like I wanted to like hit him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because like how he looked at me. I was like, yo, hey man, like he came from
Stop
school.
showing your age, Dad.
Yeah, he came from school. I was like, yo, what up, man? You know what I mean? We did a little dab and shit. I was like, yo, may the 4th be with you. He was like,
But do you watch
What
Star
does
Wars?
that
Do you watch
mean?
Star Wars with him?
what I told him was, I thought you liked Star Wars.
He's like, what's Star Wars?
I watched it because you was watching it, man.
Yeah, he
It's
didn't
probably
respond.
on my
He just,
social media on
he just
TikTok.
gave me the shoulder like.
He was like, oh, I thought it was just Tuesday night movie.
Uh-huh.
He's like,
I wasn't invested.
Man,
yo, shout out
plug
to
it
y'all,
in.
man.
Man,
Oh shit, man! I got a new song coming out. It's supposed to be either released today or tomorrow. I'm not completely sure, but it's on a server to go out, and it's called You. As always, I am the songwriter. You by the songwriter. It's explicit. People told me like they remember when I rapped, so I rapped on this one. Dope hooks as always. A talented motherfucker.
all right, I'm gonna check you out.
Yeah.
It's Q. We got the Instagram shit, right?
Yeah.
I always forget. Instagram, CUE underscore the THE underscore songwriter.
There it is.
That's what's up,
Alright.
man. Hey, and follow the podcast on all platforms. What's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify.
All of it.
What else we on? A lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what YouTube.
Everything.
Yeah, we on
YouTube.
everything.
Everything.
And we taking over.
That's
And all
it.
that not so common NSC. Thank you for being with us.
Yo, hey, before we cut this off, 'cause that was his outro. He was about to be out this motherfucker right there. But super dope conversation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Super.
That's
Do you have like
Yeah.
a tag? You want people to know where you fuck you at? Or you like you fuck people like?
All right,
what's
I
your life
got
like?
Instagram.
Somebody
At
never on anything.
Instagram, it's _favorite light bright. You can catch me on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, I post a little something. You know, we
Well,
like to
yeah.
travel a little bit. so
Okay. Okay.
You'll get some exotic kind of pictures in there. You'll see what we like to do on our off time. You know,
That's
a lot
dope.
of
Can't
people
post this like
live
2020.
to work. We work to live. But most importantly is you get out there. There's a whole world out there. You go see it. Take a little bit of time. Go ahead and plan you something. Go see it.
And
you'll
everybody
see that
make fun
on-
of this too when she
Oh
You ain't
my
gonna-
make fun
gosh.
of this.
It's fucking
You
tough.
love it, so
Bling
you
by
hate it.
Bobo. Bling by Bobo.
Bling by Bobo.
Hey,
Bling by
slide the link.
Bobo.
We'll
Shout
slide
your
the
team
link.
in the comments.
all right, baby.
All
Where can
right,
the people find you?
Austin B. Lopez on everything. I have a link tree. It's all connected.
That's Austin with a capital A.
Mm. Big A.
Big A.
Big A.
B. Lopez on everything. Facebook, Instagram, everything you can think of.
She's also a
Twitter.
realtor, so if y'all out there
yeah.
in the
Oh,
Texas
watch
area,
out.
you know,
Hey, shout that
trying to
out there.
find, a home, shout out
Right.
baby over there.
Shout out EXP Realty. All right.
Yeah.
But catch me on my link tree. I have everything there. Probably have like 6 or 7 different sites. So any which way you want to follow or message me, everything is there. Email and everything.
Amazing.
Austin B. Lopez.
I think your story is pretty dope. What makes it dope is
Thank
because y'all open about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
what.
Like, that's what-
I like
For
about it.
sure.
Absolutely.
You know.
She,
Y'all
I
got-
mean, even talking to her, like she got some stories. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's some stuff that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
get into it. We'll have to get into that next
Yeah.
time.
As long
It's
as
a lot.
I loved it,
I ain't
man.
like, I ain't
Yeah.
like other people who just like to ask questions and then
Oh,
talk
yeah.
shit.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know,
You know,
just
this
to-
is
you know what I'm
this-
talking about.
All right, right. Oh, I know.
You know.
You know, where my chapstick at? Hold on. Where my chapstick? Oh, that ain't
Shout
it.
out,
Oh,
shout
that's a
out,
lighter.
shout out Fat Sports Bar. You know.
You
Big
know.
up,
Fats.
Benny.
Look, West Road, come through.
Watch
Catch
out.
us over there, you know. But yeah, for sure. Thanks for tuning in. You know, thanks for having
Yes,
us.
it
Like
was an
they were
honor. Thank
saying.
you
Wow.
Thanks for
I'm
having
saying,
us.
come back.
We enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
Definitely got
Part
stories
two,
out
part
there.
two, part
Part
three.
Yo.
We have a lot.
Yo.
Gets way deeper.
It definitely
Part
does.
2
Way
coming
more
for sure.
invasive.
For sure.
Hopefully by the time we come back, we done sign them
Yeah, if I
papers.
knew this was gonna be that job.
The good type of papers, that is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll
All right.
catch y'all on the next one, man. Thank you.
All right, Matthias, go press that button. Do your
Peace,
thing.
man.
Peace and love.